Hey, ladies and gentlemen, how are you? We're back for a Monday night for you, Tuesday afternoon for me. We have some big news in the Lynn trial, which I can't wait to talk to you about. I was supposed to talk to you about it last week because I found out about it then, but hey, it's okay. You better off you know right now because it means you didn't have to wait 4 days. So I will talk to you all about it in a minute. But if you like Verdict Watch, we're about to go on Verdict Watch, and I'll explain the process in Australia. It's a little different to America, slightly, not too much, just a little bit. And yeah, so right now, actually, in the court in Melbourne, I think they're in closing arguments right now. So this trial has gone really, really fast. It says here it's been 5 weeks. I can't believe that. I really cannot. I really thought it'd been like a week or two. 5 weeks has gone very, very quickly. And we're at the pointy end of the trial now. We'll hear closing arguments over today and maybe tomorrow. I'm just trying to figure that out right now. And then the jury will get their final charge from the judge or the magistrate, and then they'll go into verdict and they'll battle it out, talk to each other, figure out whose version of whatever they believe, and they'll do their civic duty and come to a decision, and we'll find out what happens. Probably, I think the judge said last week they expect it to be wrapped up by Friday, so we won't find out until August. We're supposed to find out. I think it's the first or second week in August. We'll find out. All right, let me get set up so you guys can actually see me and not this talking bubble. Let me get this latest story for you. All right. Let's get this. Hey guys, how are you? Good to see you. I'm here, I promise. I'll say hello to everyone. Angela, how are you? Hey, how are you? Good to see you. Danny Mitchell, hey buddy, how's it going? Kathy Lynch, good to see you too. Andrew, glad you could make it. Angela, I already said hello to you, but I'll say hello again. Hi. Hey, Four Sons Mom, how are you? Mr. Dan Yee, Mr. Dan Yee Mitchell. Marilyn Landis is here, of course. Of course, has to be Marilyn Landis. My buddy DJ is here. Good to have you. Diane, hey, how are you? Lots of people here tonight. Are you all missing Trish? Yeah, Trish's voice is still messed up. I told you. She kissed so many famous, good-looking, rich criminologists and famous true crime people at CrimeCon. She came down with the kissing disease. I mean, that may not be factual, but hey, we're just going to go with it. Yeah, it's good to see everyone. Hey, Moonlight View, how are you? Who else we miss? Diane. Hey, another Diane. We have two Dianes. Look, one and two. How special are we? And Marcelina, how are you, my friend? And Beryl. Hey, Beryl. I saw you were here yesterday. Nice to see you back here again. I hope I didn't miss anyone. No, I didn't. Okay, cool. Let's talk about what's going on today in this trial. So, the Crown, which is the prosecution, is summing up its case against high country killer Greg Lynn, who is an ex-pilot. Did you know that? It's a really rare fact of this case. Apparently, he was a pilot for Jetstar. I think that is overused. I don't think we should be using that anymore. Can we just call him the guy who went to court for 2 murders? It says the claims. He said the ex-pilot's claims the missing campers died accidentally is fanciful. Here's why the prosecution says his story is implausible. So they're trying to pull apart his version of events now to convince the jury that it's a work of fiction. They're saying here, accused high country killer Greg Lynn's claims that Russell Hill and Carol Clay were accidentally killed is a complete fiction and should be rejected, a prosecutor has told the jury. The former airline pilot, geez, how many times do we have to read that, is standing trial in the Supreme Court for the murders of childhood sweethearts Mr. Hill, 74, and Mrs. Clay, 73, who vanished during a camping trip to the Wanangata Valley in March 2020. Now, in the 5th week of the trial, the Crown prosecutor on Tuesday delivered his closing address, telling the jury Mr. Lynn's versions of events was completely fanciful. The accused story is indeed a series of very unfortunate events. Like a book series, it is complete fiction. Mr. Lynn claims Mr. Hill and Mrs. Clay were killed accidentally in separate struggles involving a shotgun and a knife after a confrontation with Mr. Hill over the elderly camper's drone. So he claims that, and I've told it before, he claims that Mr. Hill didn't like the fact that he was hunting so close to camp, and there was some confrontation over it. Later in the night, they took, or he says Mr. Hill took a firearm from his car and said, "Oh, I'm going to take this to the police and dob you in, and you're unsafe with firearms or whatever." And Gregory Lynn said, "Hey, give me my rifle back." And they start wrestling over the rifle, and the gun goes off. Not by the accused. He says he didn't have his hands on the trigger, but he's saying Mr. Hill accidentally discharged a firearm, killing his lover, Mrs. Clay. Uh, it sounds very interesting. And then he says that Mr. Hill, in a fit of rage after his lover is now lying there dead, he grabs a knife and he's like, "Well, I'm going to kill you. You killed my lover." And they start, wrestling over it, and he falls to the ground, and the knife goes through Mr. Hill's heart, and he dies. So that's his version of events. The prosecution thinks it's the other way around. The prosecution thinks that Gregory Lynn killed Mrs. Clay first, and then, oh no, killed Mr. Hill first, and then killed Mrs. Clay last as a witness. So, you can't have any witnesses to murder. So that's what they think. And they're saying here, Mr. Lynn claims Mr. Hill and Mrs. Clay were accidentally killed in separate struggles. Yep. Fearing he would be blamed for the deaths, Mr. Lynn admitted bundling their bodies in his trailer, dumping them in the remote bush before later returning and setting fire to their remains. The prosecution said he expected the defense may argue the evidence was not inconsistent with their client's account, but he said the wholesale destruction of so much evidence meant little could be made of it. Yeah, when you set fire to most of it, it's hard to build any forensic evidence out of it. They're also saying, according to Mr. Lynn's account, Mr. Hill took the ex-pilot shotgun from his Nissan Patrol because he claimed Mr. Lynn had been hunting too close to the campsite. Mr. Lynn claims Mr. Hill threatened to take the firearm and the drone footage to police before the two wrestled over it, and Mr. Lynn tried to get it back. Prosecution told the jury there was a number of reasons why that account was implausible. First, he's got the wrong gun, he said, pointing out Mr. Lynn had actually been hunting with a rifle rather than a shotgun, and they did not look alike. Mr. Lynn claimed Mr. Hill also took a box of ammunition, which he loaded into the gun as he walked away. But the prosecution says if his plan was to confiscate the firearm, why load it? They said, "Why are you loading it when all you're looking to do is take it back to your campsite?" He also noted Mr. Hill had left behind Mr. Lynn's rifle on Mr. Lynn's account. "Don't you think you'd make sure he wasn't left with another gun?" Pointing out that the two had been hostile to each other. And they're saying that, these closing addresses continue. And it says defense barrister will deliver his closing address after the prosecution before the jury is expected to begin their deliberations later this week. So they actually gave a direction, or not a direction, but the judge gave sort of a talk last week. It's been a long weekend here in Victoria. For the jury actually had a really long weekend. They didn't come in on Friday, and then they had Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So they had a bit of a 4-day long weekend, and they were told they expect to wrap up by Friday this week. So 4 more days of trial and deliberations. So we're going to be done by the end of the week. We should have a verdict, and then possibly I can start telling you what I think, because right now I can't tell you anything. All I can tell you is what is written in these news sites, because they have legal analysts who go through it and make sure they're not doing the wrong thing, and they pay a lot of money for that, and I don't have that money to pay a lawyer, so we just use their information because it's been legally cleared for publication. So hopefully we'll figure out what's going on later this week. I would suspect if they can get done with, I thought they said last week they're also going to have victim impact statements this week, but I could be wrong about that. That they were going to hear from the families, but maybe that was last week. Um, if they can get the prosecution's closing address done today, if they can get the defense's closing address done tomorrow, that's Wednesday, and then they go into, verdict, that's a couple of days. It could very well make it by Friday. If they go any later, it may stretch into next week. Another reason not to go camping, what in case the one in a million chance is an ex Jetstar pilot out there who is hunting too close to camp? I mean, I guess so. If that is the kind of thing you're worried about running into. I'm not a camper either. I like indoors. Indoors are much better than outdoors. Well, sometimes. I like hiking and that, but I don't want to sleep outdoors. Too many spiders, snakes, drop bears, that type of thing. Okay. Shall we get on? If you were watching the news today or the true crime world, you may have noticed the intensity surrounding the missing 2-year-old that we are talking about yesterday has started to pick up. Some of the more mainstream creators? Yeah, okay. They've started to pick up on this now. And the one I'm thinking of is the one that owns Crime Online. She did a show today. Was it today? I'm guessing it was. Yes, Miss Nancy Grace, fresh out of CrimeCon. Um, she did a video on it. I don't know how to access it for you, but she did her crime stories with Nancy Grace, and she did a story on yeah, so that she did a bit of background on it. So Samara and Aaron welcomed a daughter, Saraya, in early May 2022 when the parents split shortly after the birth. They share custody of a happy toddler with a big personality. When Saraya is 18 months old, he Aaron proposed to his new girlfriend, Nadia. June 3rd, Samara drives to drives to the exchange location to pick up the daughter from her father. When he doesn't arrive 30 minutes later, she starts to worry. He's not answering his calls or his texts or email. So she reaches out to his parents who inform her that he had planned to take Soraya camping at Flathead Lake in Montana for the week. Now, that's where they thought they were going to go search. And in the last 24 hours, it's come out that they think it's probably that they're in Mexico now. It's been reported widely in the last 24 hours, and it should be in this article here. Yes, it is. Police now believe Soraya is in Mexico with Aaron, her father, and his fiancee, Nadia. So an arrest warrant has been issued for Aaron. The Pullman police and the FBI are investigating this case, trying to bring Samara's baby girl back home. That's the mum. That's her there. She's been doing a lot of media, doing a great job too. She's been on a bunch of different TV channels, trying to raise awareness about the case. So she's doing a good job. Apparently, the FBI Assistant Special Agent Kelly Smith says these cases become difficult when they go international. We are not considered law enforcement in a foreign country, but our position and our world there is to work with the law enforcement agencies to further our mission. Sometimes that's providing investigative support for a foreign country to help with an investigation there, and sometimes that's requesting support from that country. Smith says the timing is crucial, but there are new tools that can help solve some of these types of cases and even cold cases. Obviously, the more time that elapses, the more concerned that we become. So speed is critical in any type of investigation. He said these type of investigations are never lost on them. People are dedicated to the mission. I've been in cases where we've solved child kidnappings and homicides from 1992 to the mid 2000s. With the advent of technology, our hope is actually higher now than it ever has been. Samara knows that law enforcement is doing all they can to bring her baby girl home. It really helps to have someone from the FBI to talk to. I can call any time of day and they just hear me out. They listen to me. She's saying basically they let her like cry on the phone, express her worries. And she says that helps so much in this situation. Her message to parents: every enjoy every moment, even when they keep you up at night, even when they wake you up extra early, even when they don't want to eat their dinner. That's all I want. I would give anything to hear my daughter tell me no right now because it's just so unbearable not seeing her or knowing if she is okay. Every little thing, enjoy it. So she's telling everyone, don't, sort of live in the moment and don't take things for granted, especially when something like this could happen. It's a very devastating case. I mean, I reckon they're going to solve it. My personal thing is, I reckon they're going to find them. Hopefully, I like good results. Anytime we can get a perfect result, I like it. Let me just double check. I looked up this an hour ago and I didn't find anything interesting. This article that we're looking at was only posted in the last uh, about 10 o'clock. They posted at 10 p.m. Eastern. So it's a relatively new article. Yeah. That was from KHQ Local News. So that's it. That's all we have. No updates. They're just working behind the scenes. They're saying, yeah, hopefully someone will see them in Mexico. I think they will stick out. The fiance is very blonde. Yeah, I think the locals will definitely see if something is wrong. Angela says, I think the girlfriend will come back, fed up of roughing it. Yeah, if that's what they plan to do was like hike or camp in the wilderness in Mexico, I think eventually she'll miss the comforts of you know, home. I know I would. After like 2 nights, I'd be like, no, I'm going home. Give me my internet. Give me my internet, hot shower, food, a stove, a microwave, cable TV. Unless she's some sort of being coerced. That's the only other thing I can think of, but she did leave voluntarily from that airport. Unless it's some sort of coercion going on, I mean, maybe she would have to stay. Even car camping sounds rough, right? I don't want to sleep in a car. Maybe when I was 18, I'd do that. At 40, no, no way. I don't want to do that to my back. Okay. That's that one. So you got that one, that one. I wish we had more information, but I think they're doing it on purpose. I don't think they're letting out too much because they're working behind the scenes. So they just want to get a good result and they probably don't want to let out, too much of their planning and operations. Don't want to give these people because they're probably monitoring it. They don't want to, clue them into that they're close. The best thing is a surprise attack. So if they can sneak up on them and grab them, that's better than giving them warning. Okay. Oh, this is disturbing. We read this one, right? Jacoby Robinson, right? We This was the child who went missing in Nevada, and he was found in a dumpster after his mum had been walking around telling people like, someone took my baby, come and help me, and someone kidnapped him. Says here, hold on, let me load this up and then I will tell you what this mentions here. Let's go to news. I don't know what they are. News 3 LV. Is that what it says? Come on, give me my page. All right, there we go. It says the pair accused of killing a 2-year-old who was found in a dumpster made their first court appearance on Saturday. They said, the 2-year-old's mother and Jacoby Robinson, 24, were arrested after the police reported that the missing toddler, Jacoby Robinson Jr., was located in a dumpster. There's that sheet that they were giving out with his photo on it. We had this the other day, endangered missing juvenile. But there was this interesting here. During Saturday's hearing, prosecutors said Robinson allegedly admitted to being in the home when the 2-year-old was whipped and beaten and saw the toddler after he was beaten throwing up and helped him get the vomit out of his mouth and nose before he went back to sleep. Prosecutors said they were notified of some very concerning injuries to the child's body, stating there was a pattern of abrasions in his genital area consisting of banding from rubber bands that the officers saw in the home, and that there are injuries to nearly 100% of the toddler's body from being whipped with a cord. Says Smith and Robinson are being held without bail. Both are due back in court on Tuesday, June 11, which is tomorrow. So they're due back. We're going to get more information. Thanks, Sean. I appreciate that link. We'll talk about it. Hold on. Let me do this one and then I'll do that one. Let's watch them in court. Let's see these people who put rubber bands around a little boy's genitals as some sort of punishment. What the hell?
Details revealed in a local courtroom as the mother of a local 2-year-old who was found dead in a dumpster appears before a judge. This weekend's hearing was to determine whether there was enough evidence to arrest the woman and her boyfriend, 23-year-old Deasia Smith, and her boyfriend. They were taken into custody and they now face several charges, including open murder and child abuse. Investigators say the autopsy report shows the toddler had injuries over his entire body from being whipped. They also say the boyfriend admitted to police that he was present during the abuse.
He was very deceptive with law enforcement in terms of his statements, not wanting to put himself at the apartment, and then had to change his statements when he was confronted with the video evidence that he was there.
So both are being held without bail pending additional review. They are due back in court tomorrow.
Yeah, trying to castrate him? Why? Is he a sex predator at 2 years old? I don't think so. Why is he a pit bull that needs to have its parts taken off? I don't think so. I think it's a 2-year-old child. IQ 45, might even be sub 45, yeah. I don't know who does that to a child. There's a special place in hell for people who do this to, one, their own children, but even like it's worse when it's your own. Well, it's just worse if you hurt children anyway. But I mean, it's your own child, your own flesh and blood, and you do this to them. You don't deserve to live in our society. You really don't. If you can be proven in the court of law and these allegations stand up and they can prove the case, sure. Um, you should be forcibly, you know, if you ever have children, they should just take them off you as soon as you give birth. You should never be allowed around a child ever again. I mean, you've shown you have uh, no care, no empathy, no anything towards a child that is your own. So disgusting. It really is. Beryl, yeah, they're not human. No way. It really does. I hope it's hot and there's no water. Yep. I hope they suffer more than that little kid did in his final moments. The fact they said injuries to 100% of the body after being whipped with a cord. I mean, that little guy just had the worst, you know, couple of years on this earth. So if you think you're having a bad day, if you think everything's not going right for you, think of what that little boy must have gone through in the last, he's only 2 years old or whatever. You think of his time on this earth and then think of your 40 years, 50 years, 60 years, whatever. And then you think he was only 2 years old and what the hell he went through. So, yeah, we'll get into that another time, Sean. But I like this one you did send me, Sean. Let's have a look at this. I don't want to talk about child stuff too much, but because we followed that case last week, I wanted to give an update on it, as distressing as it is. I do want to talk about this one though. All right, from Australia. I think I know this one. It says man charged with forcible confinement, sexual assault after woman allegedly found running naked and screaming along Campus Street. I think you sent me this, but someone else did too. Hold on. A 44-year-old cameraman has been charged with a number of offenses after a naked woman was seen. Hold on. Sorry, I'm having some issues. Hold on. Sorry, I'm still suffering from some ill effects from that cold I had. It comes and goes, and I'm okay for like half an hour, and then I'm not okay, and then goes and comes. So sorry about that. A 44-year-old Canberra man has been charged with a number of offences after a naked woman was seen running and screaming along a street on Monday evening. Monday evening? Wasn't there one a couple of months ago? It was very similar, where a woman who had been she'd been shot in the head, right? And no, in the chest. And then they found her running in the street at like 2 a.m. in the morning. So that is very similar to this one. Police allege that officers on patrol about 7 p.m. came across the woman running across the street in Lynn. They said they stopped and took the woman into their vehicle, at which point she alleged that she had been confined to a nearby residence for days. She also alleged that she had been sexually assaulted by a man during that time and had sustained numerous injuries. A short time later, police arrested a man at a residence and charged him with forcible confinement, um, sexual intercourse without consent, assault, occasionally actually bodily harm, and failed to appear in court. The man was due to appear before the ACT Magistrates Court today. Investigations are continuing, and police say they expect to lay more charges. This is very interesting. Hold on. Let me look it up. A 44-year-old cameraman. I want to see if we can find a name. Here, maybe the Canberra Times will tell us. No, I don't see any other details. That's annoying. But 44, did they give an age of the girl? No, but that is concerning. I wonder what this charge is. Sexual intercourse without consent. Is that equivalent to a American R word charge? Let me have a look. So, a person who engages in sexual intercourse with another person without consent of the other person, who is reckless as to whether the other person consents, is guilty of an offense punishment of imprisonment of up to 12 years in prison. So, hold on. That's for New Zealand. We don't want New Zealand. We want Australia. Let's see what this penalty unit is for just that one charge. Okay, here. The Crown does not have to prove that full penetration occurred, that the accused finished, or that the sexual intercourse was for the accused sexual gratification. Well, a lot of times it's not in either R word things or some murders that involve a sexual element. It's not actually for sexual gratification, it's for other things. There's all sorts of mental standpoints that you can be in for that. So that's a good argument on there. Says the element comes to where's the penalty unit? Show me the penalty. It didn't give me a penalty unit. Normally they give you a penalty unit. All right, and we might have to go all the way down to the end. Okay, I don't know. It doesn't give me a penalty or a time in jail. Normally they give you like a direction, like this is worth how many penalty units or whatever, and they are equivalent to blah blah blah. Okay, it doesn't tell me. Ah, here, this might help. Any person who has had sexual intercourse with another person without consent that is liable for up to 14 years in prison. There we go. So there you go, 14 years, a little longer than New Zealand. New Zealand, 12 years, New South Wales, and probably the ACT, 14 years. It's not enough. No, I think it's quite small, right? These offenses can affect people for their life, almost like it takes their normal personality away. It's very, very awful. And sometimes the survivors never become okay. They just spend their whole lives trying to figure out how to live with their new reality. So, all right, you did, Kathy? You did? I'm going to keep an eye on that story because I want to find out his name. Why should his name be suppressed? Unless he's related to the woman, then I get it because it protects her as well. But his name, if he's not, should be out there. We've got to stop protecting offenders. And, oh, his family might be known. Okay, you commit big boy crimes and you got to deal with big boy consequences. So, all right. So I don't agree with hiding perpetrators' names unless it somehow protects the victim, but most times it does not. Unless it's like like a husband and wife thing, or it's a child of someone that's in the family, then I get it because the child can be identified through the family tree. But every other situation other than that, you should have to identify them. Okay, says Abigail Velez, is that her name? 16, was last seen on Thursday at the Baptist Hospital in Pensacola, Florida, around 9:30 p.m. Pensacola police said she was taken there by her father, but wouldn't say the reason. She walked out the door and left of her own accord. We are now looking for her. We're not exactly sure what's going on or why she left. Apparently, the aunt said the family is struggling with the teen's disappearance. It's been a lot of phone calls with detectives and police departments and a lot of worrying. It's been difficult for the whole family, but for her parents and her brother, Abby's picture being reposted on social media, a post even made it in a flight attendant group. She shared it within the Delta flight attendants page, specifically Florida, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and Tennessee. So that went to 26,000 flight attendants this morning. If she gets on an airplane with somebody that, doesn't feel comfortable talking in front of, an Amber Alert has not been issued in this particular case. Yeah, so it says here it doesn't meet the requirements in Florida for the Florida Department of Law Enforcement's Amber Alert guidelines. And we went through them actually a couple of weeks ago. We went through how they have two different types of alerts they can use. One is an Amber Alert, one is called, it's got a name and it's a something alert. They both have different systems that you have to go through in a way, different criteria, and you both have to go through the clearinghouse for child alerts. There's a clearinghouse they use in Florida for it, and you have to call up and register it and get it cleared. All right. What's her name? Abigail Velez. All right, let's have a look. Pensacola police searching for missing teen. Because I there's no photo on that particular story for her. Oh, there's a photo. All right, let's see if I got her last name correct. I probably did not.
Now, Pensacola police want your help to find the young girl on your screen. This is 16-year-old Abigail Velez, last seen at Baptist Hospital last night at around 9:30. You can see from this picture she has on a green shirt with what looks like black or dark blue shorts with socks and some sandals. Abigail is 5'6", weighs 130 pounds, with green eyes and dirty blonde hair. If you know where she is, if you've seen her, look at that picture, call Pensacola Police.
I couldn't hear it. It's like really low for me for some reason. I hope it wasn't low for you. When you need to say the P. Ah, okay. That's a good one. Yeah. That's a good way of saying it. PDF file. Yes, make sure you look out for all those dangerous PDF files out there. Contain a lot of malicious code. That's true. I did teach you the Australian slang rock spiders. But that is not on Australian slang. It's more prison talk. It's how they talk in prison mostly. It's not really day-to-day talking. It's more like what they use in jail. Ah, they were on vacation. Yeah, I couldn't hear the news report. I don't know why. It was really quiet on my headphones. I hope it wasn't for you. Let me see if I can find anything else about her. It's a really odd. And why won't they release what injury she went to the hospital for? That's a little odd. I mean, I guess maybe she's a child and it violates some medical law? I don't know. Normally they'd be like, "Oh yeah, she had a broken leg and, she had to get it looked at." All right, let's see. This is Knox News. Let's see if they can tell us. There's her little missing poster. Can we get that in a bigger? It's not a great photo, but there. Abigail Kate, 16 years old, was reported missing June 6, 2024 from Pensacola. Weighs 130 pounds, green eyes, and dirty blonde hair. Yeah, it sounds about right. She looks a little older than her age would suggest. To me, she looks a little older, but some of these girls nowadays, if you told me they were 23, I'd believe you. I really would. They look so much more grown up than I remember at that age. A lot of the girls that age when I was young did not look that grown up. All right, thanks. Laura sent me something. I hope maybe this is an update. No, it's a different missing children case. But thank you, Laura. I will do it in a second. Um, yeah, there's her photo. What else do they say? It says little is known about the circumstances of how she went missing, but a post shared by the KCSO account said she was in Pensacola on a vacation. That's it. They said, "We are so thankful for the support from the community. There are tips that have come in that hold value. We wouldn't have that without the public continuing to share her photo." So, all right, let me try and search her on Twitter. Maybe there's a reporter who's following it who has more up-to-date details for us. Nice to see is it the Alive Foundation doing the poster? Yeah, no, Aware Foundation, not Alive, Aware. They did a poster for her too. Any more information? Doesn't seem so. It seems like information is quite, you know, sporadic is the word I would use. Please
Here this
searching.
morning for you, a Tennessee
There you
police
go.
officer's daughter has gone missing down in Pensacola, Florida. Blue Line, Tennessee, and the Knox County Sheriff's Office putting out reminders on social media. This is 16-year-old Abigail Velez. She was last seen at Baptist Hospital, reported missing on Thursday night. The search has expanded to all of Florida right now. Blue Line, Tennessee is asking people to share her information in hopes that she's found soon.
I like the rodeo. We should all go to the rodeo. The prison pocket, yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, it is. Yeah, Penguin knows. But yeah, Prison Pocket is pretty funny. I don't think I know any others that I could teach you that you would find useful in true crime, really. The rest are more slang terms for things you would find in prison, like I don't know, like dealing drugs or finding drugs or paying money for a debt or something. Like it wouldn't be all that useful, really. All right, that's it. I hope they find her. Did they say that she's a law enforcement, a daughter of law enforcement? That is interesting. Let me see if I can find any little other bit. See if there's a yeah. Let's go to WATE. Sometimes they have better information. No, not really. There's just said she was last seen at Baptist Hospital. They said there was a flyer provided by the department. She's been missing since 9:30 p.m. on Thursday, June 6th. Blue Line Tennessee Inc., a Maryville-based nonprofit organization, wrote in a social media post that she is the daughter of a local police officer. So there you go. I don't know who Blue Line Tennessee Inc. That sounds like a police organization, right? Like the Blue Line. It is. It is a police association. Yeah, here's their website. Blue Line Tennessee. They sort of do stuff for like fallen officers and things like that. Okay, interesting. Interesting that they would come out with information on the missing girl. Former LE, not current, not participating. Okay, makes sense. Oh, the snow thing is Snowtown killers were the bodies in the barrel, right? Am I getting confused? Snowtown was yeah, the bodies in the barrels, right? Yes, it was. So this is the Snowtown murders. There was here, most of the bodies were found in barrels in an abandoned bank vault in Snowtown, South Australia, hence the names given in the press for the murders. Only one of the victims was killed in Snowtown itself, which is approximately 140 kilometers north of Adelaide, and neither the 12 victims nor the 3 perpetrators were actually from the town. Although the motivation for the murder is unclear, the killers were led by Bunting to believe that the victims were PDF files, uh, gay people or weak in the case of some victims. The murders were preceded by torture, and efforts were made to appropriate the victims. So basically, they stole the victims' identities to take money after they either killed them or had them in captivity. Although initially the notoriety of the murders led to a short term economic boost from tourists visiting the town, it created a stigma with authorities considering a change of the town's name and identity. The case has been chronicled in numerous books as well as film adaptation released in 2011 to critical acclaim. The 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 film is pretty good. It's not my favorite telling of the crime. My one, I actually really like I think it's season 1 of Crime Investigation Australia, and they do a pretty good reenactment of the crime. So, yeah, 12 victims, right? I think it is. Yep, victims 12. Span of crimes August 1992 to May 1999. So, date apprehended 21st of May 1999. So, just before the turn of the millennium, they had this big crime that shocked South Australia and the wider Australian community. It was pretty brutal. I wonder if I can find you a link to the crime investigation one. Hold on. I can actually. It's on YouTube, free to watch. Hopefully, you're not geo locked out of it. Hopefully, it's not just for Australians, but it's actually from the production company Shadow Productions, so it's a legit YouTube copy. Here's the YouTube link. It's in the chat and on the screen. You guys can go there and watch that episode after and learn all about the bodies in the barrel, which is a very historic. It's not even historic yet. It's only been not even a couple of decades yet, so it's only about 15 years ago. There's a bunch of them. You know, the one when people talk about South Australia, the one that I think of is the Kapunda murders. I can never get that out of my head. The Kapunda murders really shaped the way I thought about true crime, especially in the day and age of the internet. You know, I watched that coverage from the moment they found those people dead in that home to the moment they arrested Jason Downey. I was glued to my computer. It was one of the very first cases that I followed from really start to finish. It's a really brute. If you guys don't know, I think we have done Kapunda on here before. Really awful murder. It was a young guy who became sexually obsessed with the girl, and he broke into their home late at night and killed the parents of the girl and the girl. He also sexually abused the girl while she was dying, and yeah, it was really, really yuck, really horrible crime. How is that spelled? Kapunda? I'll put it in the chat. Actually, we might be able to show you. Huh, there's no Wikipedia for it? That's a little weird. Okay. But I can show you the BBC coverage of it. Hold on. I'll put the name in the chat too. There's this. You can look up that word too if you don't know how to spell Kapunda. So, Jealous Scott. He was actually Scottish, yeah. Jason Downey jailed for killing Australian girl and her parents. I think one of the saddest aspects of this particular case is that her brother, not this guy, the murdered girl's brother, found out that his parents and his sister had been murdered through Facebook and social media. He saw it and he's like, "Wait, is that my home? Why is there police tape everywhere?" And someone actually told him, "Hey, this is your family, right?" And they said there was 3 murders in the house, and he realized it was his sister and his mum and dad. Really, really awful. Really hard to comprehend how that must feel to be on holiday in a completely different state in Australia and then figure out when you wake up one morning that your entire family is gone. And then you see it all over the news. And anyway, this is Jason Downey here. He was the one who was convicted of the killing, and it was all over not being able to have a sexual relationship with the young lady, which her name was Chantel, right? Chantel, yeah, she was 16. He was 20. Well, I think he's 20 now. And her father Andrew and her mother Rose were stabbed to death. They said the crime scene was so like blood soaked that the police officers who went in there felt like it was a horror movie, something you saw out of the 80s, like one of those full over the top kind of, gross blood everywhere all over the walls. They said it was one of the worst crime scenes they have ever witnessed. Murder capital. I've never done much with the Beaumont children. It's not one I've followed. I think it affects the generation behind me a lot more. I know there's some younger people who are interested in it, but it was so far before my time that I don't know enough about it. Like I wasn't around when it happened. I didn't grow up with the media coverage. I get the premise of it. I understand why it's one of our biggest mysteries, but I wasn't around at the time, and it's not as prevalent for me in my mind compared to some other crimes that have happened. Okay. All right. Let me do this one from Laura. My friend Laura. What is this, my friend? Let's bring this all the way over here. A silver alert. Oh, you don't see those that often. Two missing children. We don't like that. One moment. All right. Let's bring you to this. Here we go. Silver alert. So, what are their names? Police say they are looking for 2-year-old Maria Soares and 6-year-old Ko, or I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. But yeah, they're looking for a 2-year-old and a 6-year-old. Their pictures are here. Oh my god, how cute! Is that Disney? At like Disney World? How cute! So where are they saying they are? According to police, they have been missing since Monday and are possibly traveling in a 2008 Subaru Forester with a Connecticut registration BH55761. No other information was immediately available. Interesting. Why is there no other information available? It was only 1 hour ago? No. WFSB reports a long time ago. Yeah, 17 hours ago. Here. Here's the original report. They're saying here, yeah, just two children were reported missing out of Danbury, or yeah, Danbury, and that's it. Just they're on the lookout for these two children. No other information. Maybe traveling in the 2008 black Subaru Forester with those Connecticut number plates. They said anyone that sees them is asked to call police at 203-797-4611. And that's all I can tell you. No other information available. It's Snow White, right? And is he supposed to be like Garcon or something? He looks so cute. No, we've been through this before. A silver alert can be used for a bunch of different things, and depending on which state it is, they have their own requirements. Hold on. We went through this about a week ago, but I'm happy to tell you again. So often it is used for things like older people who may have a medical condition and they go missing, like they go for a walk and don't come back. That can be used as a silver alert, but they can also be used for children. But I can't remember what we had a really good website that detailed it all. Maybe it's this one. Okay. So Silver Alert is a public notification system in the United States to broadcast information about missing people, especially senior citizens with Alzheimer's or dementia or other mental disabilities in order to locate them. Silver Alert uses a wide array of media outlets such as commercial radio, TV, cable television, other platforms. And it says here activation criteria. Activation criteria for silver alerts vary state to state. Some states limit silver alerts to people over the age of 65 who have been medically diagnosed with Alzheimer's, dementia, or mental disability. Other states expand the silver alert to include all children and adults with a mental or developmental disabilities. In general, the decision to use a silver alert is made by law enforcement agency investigating the report of a missing person. Public information in a silver alert usually consists of a name and description of the missing person and a description of the missing person's vehicle and license plate number. So there you go. It can be used for children depending on the state. So, Prince Charming. Okay, you guys know Disney better than I do. They're on the news near you, Marcelina? Is it getting much coverage where you are? Hey, Diamond Heart, how are you? I wonder if we can find anything else. I'm going to take one name. I'll take the 2-year-old's name because you can't type both in. All right. Let's see if local police have put anything else. Interesting. Okay, social media shows not much. If I type the name in, I get no results at all. I wonder if this is a case of do you guys remember a couple of months ago we had another alert that went out for a young girl. She was about 15 or 16 at the time, but the name was spelled incorrectly. It was like it had an extra letter on it, or it was just spelt in a different way than it would normally be. And it's almost like they do it on purpose so that you can't trace them. They just want you to look for them, but they don't want you to dig into their background, sort of thing. I remember me and Sean looked into it. Sean, do you remember that girl? And we were able to find her real name, and then we backtracked it, and we figured out that I don't think we ever broadcast the full name, but we figured out that her name in the media was spelt slightly differently to her actual real name, and we don't know why, but yeah, I think it might be something similar because when I type their name into social media, nothing comes up at all. It just says nothing available. And I think that one was a silver alert too. Yeah, Sean remembers. That was that young girl. Did they ever find her? I can't remember. She was like a young blonde girl. Can't remember. Sean, if you remember, let me know if she was found or not. I literally cannot remember. Let me know if you see more breaking information about it, Marcelina. Let me know because I want to know more about these missing little kids because they're so adorable. I mean, who doesn't think this is the most cutest thing they've ever seen? How just pretty and adorable, and that is a great family photo. I hope they're okay. Oh, they did find her. Good, good. No, it wasn't. That girl made it back, I think. They there was a long story to that one. There was a big backstory and she was found at a home and no, no, no. This girl was in the other side of the country. I'm pretty sure it was like Pennsylvania or Connecticut or something like that. It was on the East Coast. When we're not sure. I think me and Sean both came to the conclusion that we weren't 100% sure if it was a deliberate thing to mask sort of people snooping into their background or it was just a mistake when someone was writing something down. We're not sure, or at least I'm not sure. But I think she was in Pennsylvania or somewhere where, yeah, I think it was Pennsylvania or Connecticut or Kentucky or somewhere over on that part of the US. And then Sean's going to tell me, no, it was actually Arizona. No, it wasn't Arizona. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. We'll have to find out on why they do that. But it's interesting when I Google their names, nothing comes up. And you would think, being that at least one of them is a number of years old, there is an Instagram. Let me have a look. I don't think that is a 6-year-old child. I wonder if it's a common last name. Okay, this is interesting. Google is telling me that this name should be spelt differently. I'll show you. I'll put it in the chat. It's spelt differently on the alert, but when I put into Google, Google tells me it should be spelt like this. And in Google, I mean, on the alert that they put out, it's spelt like this. But they're telling me that's not the correct way you would do it. It's actually supposed to be like that. So maybe that is the mistake here. So I don't know. Hey, Lisha, how are you? Thank you very much for your coming here tonight. I appreciate it. I hope you're doing well. I hope your world is getting better. Hope you're having a better couple of weeks than about a month ago. I really do. All right, shall we get on to some more true crime instead of babbling? You go, Ping, your show is so boring. You just talk about nothing. Tell us more true crime. You talk too much. Well, that's what the show's about. All right. Okay, this is interesting. A lady has been missing for a year. What's her name? Elise. Elise. Okay. So they're doing an appeal because she's been gone since June 2023. Okay. All right, we can do this. Hopefully it'll play it.
To Amherst County now, where the search continues for a missing woman, Elsie Wigington. Today, neighbors and family members came together to pass out flyers and comb through the area near Elsie's property. The group met at the food line in Amherst County. Elsie has been missing since June of last year. Several law enforcement agencies are investigating this case. Elsie's friends and family tell us they're determined to bring her home.
Any way that I can help, I'm willing to do that. And I just hope we can find the information that we need and bring her home.
We're going to keep going until we find our answer. So we won't stop until we find out what happened. And if someone did do something, we will find out who did it, and we won't stop until we do.
Anyone with information is asked to contact the Amherst County Sheriff's Office or state police. Let's take a break from the headlines, jump into that hometown forecast with Bradford Ambrose. I know this.
God, they love that rodeo video. So her name is Elsie? Is that how you pronounce it? I hope so. I said it was Elise. It kind of looks like Elise from my distance, but it's obviously not. Elsie Wigington. Okay. I don't know this one, but apparently my notes here say that apparently she's notified people she was in danger at one point, and then she went missing. And it's been a year. She went missing June 3rd last year. Hold on, let me double check. Oh, it just says June 2023. And family members said she had expressed fears for her life before she vanished and arranged to meet a friend in Maryland, but never arrived. Oh, that's concerning. She worked as the director of nursing at Fairmont Crossing Health and Rehab Center. It was a job she enjoyed, family members said, adding that she would never leave without telling her children and grandchildren her location. So they're saying after almost a year, they still haven't come up with anything. Well, it is a year actually. Let me see. Let me check the Aware Foundation. Well, they post so many missing people articles. It can be hard to track it down. Here.
Thanks for joining us tonight. We begin with the family's desperate search efforts as they try to bring home a missing Amherst County woman. Elise Wigington, has been missing for about a year, and there are still no answers. ABC 13's Rachel Branning joins us live at the sheriff's office. And Rachel, her family is not giving up.
Kelsey, Elsie Wigington's family is nothing short of determined. They tell me they're just desperate for answers, so they're taking matters into their own hands. Today, they got a group.
Apparently, that news company hasn't paid their bandwidth bill, and they don't serve videos. It keeps stuttering. Yeah, we've never had that. Hey Ping, what happened to the background that Remy made for your wall? It's right here. We've got a couple of different clips we're going to look at. We've got a couple of ideas. One is that we can use bulldog clips on the corners of it and then put a string. And I've got two hooks up here. You guys can't see it, but we used to have a calendar here, but there's two bolts sort of side by side. Maybe if we attach a string to the bulldog clips, we can hang it over the bolts. Then they're already there, so I don't have to drill into the wall. I've just got to get off my lazy butt and do it. I actually got them just before I got sick, and then it sort of fell by the wayside. But I do really want to have it up because it's very boring. It's very boring, the background here, just having a white wall. So I do want to have it up because it is really pretty. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't tell me who she was afraid of, just that she told her family she was afraid of someone. Hold on, let me see if I can find anything else about it. Okay. One moment. I'll try bring up a different one. See, I told you, I have a bad memory, but it wasn't that bad. I kept saying it was, I'm sure it's Pennsylvania. Yeah, it was. Thanks, Sean, for that. Scranton. That's it. It says here, it says a family is begging for closure as they try to bring a missing, is it Amherst woman home? It says Elsie Wigington has been missing for a year this month, and there are still no answers to what happened to her, but her family is determined. They said they're just desperate for answers, so on Saturday they took matters into their own hands. Me and the community, we put together a search today. We're going to hand out flyers to the local community and to her neighborhood just to bring out awareness and hopefully get some answers. I can't imagine what that would be like to have a family member just disappear into thin air like this. I mean, loved ones said before she went missing, she feared for her life and had plans to escape to Maryland, but she never showed up. Escape from who? Her family filed a missing persons report with the county sheriff office nearly a year ago. Now the office under a new sheriff is taking a closer look at the case. Yeah, it says here the old administration of the sheriff really dropped the ball, but they've recently got a new sheriff in town. There's a new sheriff in town that is putting more resources into trying to solve it. It says here it's going to keep her name at the front of everybody's list because it brings awareness to the community, also to people who may know answers so they can come forward. They're saying that they felt like the old sheriff's department could have done a lot more earlier on to find her. Yeah, this is interesting. Why won't they tell us who she was afraid of and why did she want to escape to Maryland? Was it a boyfriend, a lover, an ex-partner, a person from work? It doesn't tell us anything. All right.
To Amherst County now, where the search continues for a missing woman, Elsie Wigington. County. Elsie.
No, that's the same video we watched before. Any other details in here? Not really. Just that she's been missing for a year. She was supposed to go to Maryland. She never made it. And they don't know where she got to. That is, how does someone go missing like that? It must be really hard to just be like, oh, they just disappeared into, thin air. Got no idea. Oh no, it's all right. I really want to get it up. I just got to get my butt into gear. Angela says get a cat scratcher for like Trish for the cats. What do you mean? You mean like one of those tower things? We have one over here. You guys can't see it, but it's just outside a frame here. I think I've shown it before. We have a really big one. Hold on, I can show it to you. What's it called? It's called like the world's giant cat scratcher or something. Hold on. Yeah, I think we've shown it several times. Hold on. Yeah, here. Here. There. This is the one that we have. It is huge. It looks sort of small in the photo, but it is massive. And yeah, look at the price. It's like $180. But these are great. These are the best thing in the world. There you go. There's the measurements for it. See, you can see it's so much bigger than the cat. They can even jump up and sit on it if they want, but it's just massive. And the cats love it. They just think it's the greatest scratching post in the world. It makes the cat in the photo look like a kitten, but that's probably a full-grown cat. That's what my cats look like when they scratch it. There you go. My cats like to do what this cat is doing. They like to get to the top of it and then they swing off it and they'll just sit there and they'll swing as if they're doing like jungle gym, and they just sort of swing off it for a while. But they love this thing. I would say if you got a cat and you can't find a scratching post that you think that is either big enough or sturdy enough, this one is worth the money. Kind of expensive, but we've had this one for 3 years now, and it still looks like it's very new. And the cats have just annihilated it. They use it 20 times a day, and it's still there. It's fine. It's not broken. It's not torn to shreds. It's fine. Oh, you guys want one like a what do they call those? Like a cat castle. Oh, like a cat castle. Yeah, we could do something like that. I don't know if they'll sleep on it though. These cats are really weird, but we could try. We could try. Ah, yeah, I know what you mean. Like a cat, what do they call it? A cat castle. You'll have to talk to Mrs. Ping, and if she will be okay with having one. Let's see. What do they call it? Oh, cat tree. Not like this. Hold on. Yeah, I know what you mean, like these things. I don't want you guys to go into my Amazon, but there you go, like these type of things. Like these perchy things. Yeah, look, I'd be open to doing it so they can sleep up here or behind here. Yeah, sure. I mean, we could do that if people really want the cats in the show. All right, hold on. Laura, thank you. WSSL. Okay.
On to hope almost a year after an Amherst County woman went missing.
10 News reporter Abby Coleman shows us why law enforcement is reopening an investigation into her disappearance.
It's been almost a year since Amherst woman Elsie Wigington vanished.
My oldest son asked for the first couple months every day to go see grandma.
A year her daughter Sativa Rucker says has been filled with more questions than answers.
And I didn't know what to tell him.
I sat down with Tracy Coleman, Elsie's foster sister. She tells me around the end of last June, Elsie made plans to come live with her in Maryland, desperate to escape a domestic violence situation with her husband.
She called me and she said, Trey, I'm scared. And I said, what's going on, Elsie? And she said, he's going to kill me.
Tracy tells me Elsie's relationship with her husband was volatile at best, and their history of abuse wasn't a secret. On several occasions, Elsie had attempted to leave, then changed her mind, which is why Tracy wasn't too concerned when Elsie didn't turn up at first. But when days turned to weeks, she knew something was wrong.
I never heard her voice as heightened as she was.
Tracy reached out to friends and family, but no one had heard from her. Sativa last hearing from her mom on June 25th.
Nothing seemed off. She said she was playing one of her phone games, and that was the last time I heard from her.
Her family and friends filed a missing persons report with the Amherst County Sheriff's Office, as did her job when she didn't show up for her shift as a nurse.
And they said that they would do some looking into it, but based on what they'd heard, it seemed like she had just left by herself.
They continued to press law enforcement for answers, sure that she would never leave, but got nowhere. That is until her nursing license expired on April 30th. The last thing Tracy says Elsie would ever let happen. That's when the Amherst County Sheriff's Office started diving into her case. But I wanted to see why the case wasn't further investigated until now. So I went to talk with Sheriff Jimmy Ayers. Ayers wouldn't do an on-camera interview, but tells me he wasn't the sheriff when Elsie went missing. And once he found out about the case, he was extremely concerned. He says just over a week ago, they tapped into Virginia State Police resources for help. Tracy tells me they fault former leadership in the office. How frustrating is it to you that it's now a year later and it's just starting to be taken seriously?
It is extremely frustrating. It should have been taken seriously then.
In Amherst County, Abby Coleman, 10 News, working for you.
Just to get started, what do you remember about the day?
Well, I think it's concerning that it took a year for someone to finally be like, a woman went missing while traveling to Maryland. Oh, that's very suspicious. She had a domestic violence history. Oh my God, maybe we should look into it. I mean, that's very, in a year, evidence disappears, people forget, memories become a little more blurry. They go, oh, I think did that happen? I can't remember. Things get lost. Stuff gets grown over with, growth of forests and trees. And I'm a little concerned, yeah. Hopefully now they've got a sheriff's department who is supportive. They can put a few detectives onto it, even one or two, to try and chase down what the hell is going on, because women don't just disappear when they're trying to go and start a new life with people they know. It's not like she's like, I'm going to disappear and go to the Bahamas. Don't look for me. And then everyone went, yeah, we never saw her again. But hey, she told us she was going to go to the Bahamas. And, she said, don't look for her. So we never did. she said she was actually going to go to a different state to hide from a domestic relationship. So that should be sending off all sorts of fireworks and red flags and um, stuff like that. Yeah, considering someone who is so passionate about their job, being, being a caretaker and nursing and that, you would think that would be her number one priority, especially heading to a different state. If you need to work, you need to have your, your certificates and your licenses up to date. Hmm. It says it was the boyfriend or husband in that video we just watched. If I can bring it up again. Here, maybe it's in here. Here. Coleman tells what? Coleman tells us Elsie's relationship with her husband was volatile at best, and their history of abuse wasn't a secret. On several occasions, she had attempted to leave and then changed her mind, which is why Coleman wasn't too concerned when Elsie didn't turn up at first, but when days turned into weeks, she knew something was wrong. What is the number one, most dangerous time for a woman in a relationship or at all? What is it? It's when they are leaving a relationship or when a relationship breaks down. So the fact that she might have told him, "Hey, I'm leaving your ass once and for all," that could have been the trigger to set it off and, you know, possibly hurt her or, something like that. So I find it interesting that they didn't take that more seriously when that statistic is well known. It is not a secret. Everyone knows that that is what is it? The two times in a woman's life, it's when she leaves her relationship and when she's pregnant. Are like the two most dangerous times in like a relationship. So yeah, there is more here. There is more. Detectives need to get their little shovels out and start digging. They need to get into this and figure out what the hell because the family deserve answers. How can you do that? Make them wait over a year and just be like, "Oh, well, she never turned up. She must be fine. We got no bodies. I didn't see a body. Did you see a body? No, I didn't see a body. It should be fine then. Well, we don't have a body, so she must be alive. She must have started a new life in Europe. Who knows? Hopefully they take it more seriously now and we can get some information because that is horrible. Her poor family. I can't imagine what that would be like if a family member went missing and then you're just like for 12 months going, why won't anyone help us? Why won't anyone investigate it? Especially with a history of domestic violence. All right. Let me see if I've got anything else for you tonight. I think mostly I'm just waiting for oh, hey Rory. What was that about? That was a bit weird. Um, let me see if I can. Actually, yes, I had one more. I have one more story. It's an older one, but I want to talk to you about it. It's about a Victorian woman called Katie Haley. She was 29. She was brutally murdered by her partner Shane Robertson in 2018 while their 11-month-old daughter slept in the room next door. The mother of two had told Robinson she wanted to leave him after he became increasingly jealous over the course of their 4-year relationship. Just minutes after the fatal assault, Robinson called his mother and told her, "I've done it. I've bashed her brains in. There's brains everywhere." He pleaded guilty to murder and was jailed in March 2019 for 24 years. The judge ruled he must serve at least 19 years before being eligible for release. 6 years later, Katie's family have been dealt another devastating blow. Robertson will not serve his entire non-parole period and will have more than a year taken off his sentence due to hardships during lockdown. Katie's younger sister, Bianca, a vocal advocate for domestic violence victims, expressed her disappointment at the decision in a TikTok video in May. She said that Robertson didn't call for help after the assault, sparked a manhunt after fleeing the scene, and failed to show any remorse for his actions. Does that sound like someone who should be eligible for a reduction in their sentence because of their hardships they faced during COVID? To me, that sounds like the worst type of person to be releasing early. He showed no remorse despite pleading guilty, and the courts deemed that as remorseful. He pleaded guilty to a crime he couldn't deny because he confessed to his mother and he was caught by police. That is not remorse. He did not call for any help. She said her sister's killer had committed a horrible crime, but was given a reduction of up to 14 months because of mental hardships prisoners face from being locked in their cells during lockdown. She said, "Make that make sense to me." Corrections Victoria use emergency management days to reduce a prisoner's sentence if they are behind bars during an emergency or industrial dispute. Inmates were automatically considered for EMDs during the COVID pandemic. Here's a photo of them before she died. Here's him and he's getting led to jail. It says Katie's family launched a petition for Corrections Victoria to cancel EMD in May, saying it posed a significant risk to the community's safety. Violent offenders like Shane Robertson should serve their full sentences as decreed by the courts without any reductions or early releases. This ensures a form of justice for victims and their families and protects society from potential harm. The Change.org petition has received over 16,000 signatures so far. It is understood the Victorian government stopped inmates from being automatically considered for EMDs from February 1st, 2023. So, yeah. The way he killed her was graphic and horrible. He bashed her head in with a weight, like an exercise weight, and he beat the living crap out of her. I can show you the original arrest video, I think. Let me try and find it. This might be when he was actually jailed. Hold on. Yeah, maybe this one. From 2018. I hope it plays.
Well, to some breaking news now, and a Victorian man has been charged with murder over the death of his partner inside their home. The family of the slain mother of two, Katie Haley, says they've lost a beautiful girl with a heart of gold.
A blood-stained mattress and a shattered glass door, evidence of Katie Haley's final moments. The 29-year-old mother of two found dead inside her Diggers Rest home after 11 o'clock last night. Her partner, Shane Robertson, now in police custody.
Pretty shocked. She's got two young kids, so I'm very quiet street. I didn't think something like that would happen here.
Katie's family is still coming to grips with their shocking loss, paying tribute to the remarkable mum with a heart of gold. Our beautiful Katie girl, not only did we lose a much-loved daughter and sister, but two precious children lost their beautiful mother. Last night, an act of pure evil touched our family. She did not deserve what has happened to her. Neighbours didn't report hearing any signs of violence last night, but noticed the usually quiet couple had been warring in the days prior.
The last week I've heard a bit of arguing happening over there. There's a lot of swearing and screaming at each other.
They're like a young couple. They have kids. They just pretty much keep it to themselves.
The Fairfield Crescent home to a family of four today, a bustling crime scene. Forensic teams examining the property and searching the refrigeration mechanic's car. 000 was called before 11 p.m. CCTV cameras capture the family station wagon leaving the street at 11:05 p.m. It's believed Robertson fled before emergency services arrived. It's understood Shane Robertson had his 2 children in the car with him and dropped them to their grandparents' house before the police air wing tracked him here to this Sunbury property where he was arrested. The car was later spotted damaged outside Robertson's parents' home.
We're not sure now, what had happened, and are we supposed to be worried as well?
A seemingly picture-perfect family now missing a doting young mother.
And that's someone who should get out early, is it? Is that someone who should have time reduced? No, he should have to serve whatever the jury or judge said
Let's
he
go
would
back.
have. Gotta stop letting people out early. It doesn't help anyone. It doesn't help the victims. It doesn't help them. The fact that the family says he's never shown a single bit of remorse for his crimes, and his crimes were brutal. I mean, he bashed the head in of a woman that he supposedly loved because she wanted to leave him. I mean, what are we doing in society where this is the answer to women making a decision? You may not like it. It sucks. No one likes being broken up with. But we learn when we're young that it happens, right? You can't get angry over it. You just go, okay, well, maybe we're not meant to be with each other anymore. It sucks, it hurts, but you don't kill people over it. You don't treat them like a possession that's yours to take from this earth. And for that reason, because he deserves to spend the rest of his life, or whatever it is, 24 years in jail. Says here, yeah, he bludgeoned her to death using a metal dumbbell. So ridiculous. It shows a person who has very limited emotional control and is emotionally immature. It really does. It shows someone who, at his age, should have been much more advanced with his brain and obviously wasn't. Let me see if I can find anything from way back then. I'm just trying to see here. So apparently she met Shane after a series of bad relationships. Seems she fell into another one. That he and his wife, along with Katie's siblings, thought she'd found someone to share those ideals with. We thought she's found herself a good bloke and they seem happy. It seemed good right up until the moment when Katie's second child was born, and it wasn't. So, again, what did we say before? What are the 2 times in a woman's life that they are, you know, in danger? When they're pregnant or just had a child, or when they want to leave a relationship. This one had the 2 of them. She was just had a child, second baby, and she wanted to leave her partner. So she hit the bingo on the most dangerous time for a woman in statistics. So says here, on average, 1 woman a week is murdered by her current or former partner. Almost 10 women a day are hospitalized for assault injuries at the hands of a spouse or domestic partner. And it says here that apparently there's a documentary on SBS called See What You Made Me Do. And it's all about, I guess, domestic violence and murder within relationships in probably Australia and further. Says here, it just seemed to be that he had his nose put out of joint because he wasn't either the focus of attention or wasn't getting enough attention. That's according to the family. They think that because she was applying a lot of her time to the children, that he somehow felt marginalized. It says here, but she was exhausted. She had a brand new baby. You've got a lot going on and dealing with everything else, and then trying to help them get ahead by going back to work and everything. But it was like someone had stolen his thunder. shouldn't the time when you have a brand new baby be the best time? Because you get to show the world, right? You get to show everyone, hey, look what we made. Look at this cute thing. You do it as a couple, a united front, not as two people, like separate. It should be the greatest time, even though it's the most tiring and probably you wish sleep was a optional thing. But it shows that his brain and the way he was thinking was completely off. It really does. That's what Chopper Read. Yeah, I know that from the Chopper Read movie. See What You Made Me Do. I think it's actually a common thing a lot of men say when they attack women because they act like it's the woman's fault that they were attacked. Oh, you revved me up, or you did something, or, that caused me to attack you. Just got to grow up and stop hitting women. Hey, Shivers Girl, how are you? I think we're just about done. I don't think I have anything else for you tonight. But I've shown you a bunch of different stories today. Oh, they did actually come. Actually, if you guys want to know a little bit about the doctor, there was a little bit of an update. Hold on. They basically said that he died from natural causes and that they think that he sat down and just passed out and died just from the heat. Well, actually, we've got a little bit of time. Hold on. We'll do this. This looks really interesting. There's a book coming out, and I saw it in the Daily Mail actually, called Long Haul. I'm definitely going to be buying it because I am very interested in the long haul truck murders, like these killing of women. But on the long haul, there's a big theory that there could be like hundreds of serial killers who are truck drivers, and they've been using the networks across the United States and Canada for decades to abduct, kill, and sexually assault women. So I will buy this book to read. So if you're interested in true crime books that are factual or supposed to be, this might be a good one for you. But that's not what I wanted to show you. I wanted to show you the Michael Mosley cause of death thing. Where is it? Come on. Yeah. It says police say Dr. Michael Mosley died of heat exhaustion and after sitting down and losing consciousness just yards away from Holiday Resort after walking across Greek Island in 40-degree heat. So they've determined that he died of natural causes. Apparently, there's a video of him from that resort, and you can see him walking around. At one point, he walks around in circles for about 20 minutes. And it's almost like maybe did he have confusion or disorientation and he couldn't figure out how to get out of that? Because there's a giant fence where they found him. I've shown that photo yesterday. And I was like, maybe he couldn't find the door because there's a little door at the end that you can get into the resort. Maybe he kept walking along it trying to go like, how the hell do I get out of this fence? But because of the heat and the heat stroke, maybe he just, his brain wasn't working properly and he couldn't figure out how to get out. Pretty awful. Yeah, apparently he elevated his feet to try and I don't know, relieve the conditions. Says here, the 67-year-old was found dead by a fence just 260 feet from a beach bar and safety. The initial post-mortem examination carried out by Rhodes coroner Despina showed that there was no third-party involvement, no criminal element, but a definitive cause of death has yet to be established. It is thought Dr. Mosley may have sat down to gather himself after being overcome with exhaustion and side effects of the heat, having taken a wrong turn down a mountain path. Oh yeah, you can't really see it in this photo, but that's that fence that runs all the way along up here. and there's a gate all the way at the end here that leads into the resort area. There's a little tiny sort of cast iron gate here. The rest of it is a fence, and they found him behind this little retaining wall and fence. So he was so close to this beautiful resort with lots of people that could have helped. There you go. You can actually see the fence runs all the way around. So maybe he couldn't figure out how to get inside. Maybe he couldn't figure out where the gate was. I think there's a gate somewhere around here, and there's one over here. So very sad. They said the police and coroner are also investigating footage from the restaurant seen by Mail Online, which shows Dr. Mosley wandering in a confused state for 20 minutes before collapsing. Temperatures at the time had been nudging 40 degrees, and the excessive heat is thought to have played a role in his death. In the video, he appears to pause momentarily by the perimeter wall, resting one hand on it, then he loses his balance and disappears from sight. Sounds like he may have collapsed or something like that. Poor guy. That's pretty gross. Flowers left by close family and friends who are visiting the spot where Dr. Mosley's body was found. Is that decomp? Is that why that's all wet? That's a bit yucky, if that's what that is. But I get the ceremonial aspect of it and the significance. Yeah, look at this. Look at this guy trying to get through the bloody fence.
So where I'm at the
noise.
moment is about 70 meters above.
Look at this. There's all these fences and that, and all these perimeter walls. If you didn't know how to get through. See, even he barely gets through. I guess it's supposed to keep people out, not in. But at the same time. And he was found behind this big one where this concrete runs. He was a bit further down. You can see, like, if you didn't know how to get out, you would keep walking around in circles, right? Going, where the frick do I go? How do I get out of here? And it's barbed wire on the top too.
In time.
So I don't know. What can you do? 90 seconds. That's very sad. Really sad. Yeah, it is. All right, I think we're going to pack up for the day. How long did we go? Almost an hour and 40 minutes or something? Yeah, about an hour. Wait, yes, about an hour and 40 minutes. I think I'm going to let you guys get out of here. We're not going to do a late show tonight because there's no point. But we will be back tomorrow, probably at 9 o'clock. The thing is, I keep telling people 9 o'clock, and then I keep getting told that Trish is sick and that they're not going to do a show. So I'm like, hey, I want to go on at 10:30. It means I don't have to split my show into two. So yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. I'm hoping by tomorrow we're going to find out a clearer way of where the Lynn trial is going to go, and if we will get done by the end of the week. And I hope so. I really do. That'd be a quick trial, right? A quick last week, 4-day week, and we can get a verdict, and we'll see what the jury thinks at the end of the week. I can't tell you what I think, but you can let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think of that particular case. Yeah, it's very sad. Still sick. Still very sick, unfortunately. Hold on, let me have a look here. Let me double check. All right. All right. Yeah, I think we're going to get out of here. Yeah. I wonder though, was he already too far gone? Like, had the heat already affected him so bad that even if he made it to the resort, would he still have passed away, or would they be able to save him? I guess we'll never know. But hey, I love you all. We'll be back tomorrow. I don't think I have any more questions. Oh, actually, Reevy made a new ending video. Do you guys want to see it? Do you guys want to have a look before we go? You guys can let me know what you think. And then if you like it, we'll keep using it. So I'll play it now. And the names are just placeholders. They're the same ones that were on the last video that we got copyrighted on. So it's not updated, but if you guys want to see the video, it's actually everyone for the month of May. It's everyone's name for the month of May. I haven't done the June one yet. All right, I'll show it to you. Yeah, I hope you guys liked it. It's pretty funny. You guys, I don't know if you've ever seen that image at the end. I have, because Ruby made it a while ago. But yeah, she made that little image at the end a few times. So if you guys like it, that may be our way around it. The music is rights free. Actually, I think Ruby made it, so she owns the rights. No one can copyright us. Anyway, if you guys like it, I'm going to edit a new one overnight tonight, and I'll add everyone's names from the last week and get it all caught up for everyone, because I love doing the ending video for you all. It really brings me a lot of joy to be able to at least say thank you to the people that support the channel day in and day out. And by not having that video, I feel like I'm not keeping up my end of the bargain, and that's why I like doing it. So all right, well, we'll do it. We'll keep it. At least we won't get copyright struck. All right, I'm going to get out of here. I love you all so much. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow night. Closing arguments for Lynn, probably day 2 tomorrow for the defense. So we'll see what happens with the defense. All right, good night, everyone. See you later. Bye-bye.